Hey guys, it's Mr. Dave and
Charlotte.
And we are with the National Museum of Nuclear Science and History, and we're back for another little episode of
Breaking Boredom. Oh yeah.
Oh. Beat me to it again.
Yay!
Beat me to it again. Okay, well, this one here we're going to be doing a fun little demonstration, which is, well, kind of gross.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit gross. We are going to show you how to extract your DNA and be able to actually see little clusters of that DNA. Now, that sounds disgusting.
And that's because it is.
Yeah, that's because it is.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
That's because of the way that it is. And so it is something that is disgusting, but it's really neat. Now, I say clusters of DNA because DNA is just a little bitty molecule. You've probably seen, what is this? Yes. You've probably seen the little examples of the DNA helix, okay? Now, this is not DNA in this thing here. These are actually just little bitty dotting tools,
Yes.
that little uses for painting squishies.
Squishies.
Yes, and so, but that helix is that little shape there, that little spiral shape. And DNA is the molecule that kind of keeps track of all the information in our bodies, okay? And living organisms have DNA. So you can also perform this here demonstration with a strawberry. Strawberry is a fun one to get the DNA with.
Or if you have a cat or dog that's very, very cooperative.
Okay. You can also, perform this with vegetables, things like that. Anything that's living, even like your cat or dog, that has DNA, you can extract it, and you can kind of use this same process here. So again, DNA is just that little helix molecule, okay, or group of molecules, and we're going to show you a cluster of DNA, which means not just one molecule, because you wouldn't be able to see it. It's teeny weeny.
Like if I had a grain of sand in here, you guys wouldn't be able to see it very well.
I wouldn't be able to see it.
But if I had a bunch of sand, then you would. That's that.
Oh, then we'd be able to see it. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's a good little analogy there. Yeah. So if you have a whole bunch of it, then you're able to see it. Now we're not going to have half a cup of DNA in here because, quite frankly, the thought makes me nauseous.
Yes.
But there will be
gross.
very small amounts of DNA that you'll see cluster in this little cup. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so Little is pretty knowledgeable in this one also, so she's going to help me out here with some of our instructions and things like that. We are going to kind of tell you what you're going to need for this one. The things that we have at our table here, one of them is salt. Okay, we're going to use the salt to actually help separate the skin cells from the inside of our mouth.
That's so gross.
That is so gross. We'll tell you about that grossness in a second. We have blue food coloring. We're going to put that in our alcohol to kind of help things show up just a little bit there. This is rubbing alcohol, okay? Just 70% isopropyl alcohol, just like you get, it's getting harder to get now, but like you would find at the grocery store or wherever. And that is just that 70% isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to get this, on you. You don't want to accidentally drink it when you're doing the other ones. So
Don't drink it.
It is good to have an
Don't
adult with you,
drink
okay? And we have some dish soap, okay?
Yes.
Clear dish soap is best, but this is what we had.
We
okay?
did not have it.
And so that's kind of the fun of these breaking boredom demonstrations there are things that you can do with things you have around the house.
Yep.
Okay. And we have this little syringe here. Now, you may not need a syringe. You can actually, when you're pouring it, you can pour down the back of a spoon, and we'll explain that part in a little bit. Another thing we have are stir sticks. Okay. These are first going to be for stirring around our soap and things like that, and then are also going to be for kind of playing with that DNA in the cup when the time comes.
Which is disgusting. Yes.
So disgusting.
So gross.
Okay. All right. So first off, we're going to want to make some salt water. Okay. Each of us have a cup of clear, regular drinking water right here, and we have our clear cups. Now, these ones we're going to make our salt water solution, and then we're going to spit it into these ones. Okay.
Ew.
And so you're going to require 3 cups. Your one for your alcohol. Now, in the instructions down below, you can find kind of the instructions on how to do things. If you're like, how do I do this one at home? What all will I need? Those are all in the instructions down below in our description. And so we have one thing of alcohol that we're sharing between the two of us because you don't need to make 2 separate ones of that because we're only going to use a little bit. Okay. All right. So first, we're going to make our salt water.
Yes.
Okay? And I'll make me some salt water. You'll make you some salt water. That way we are swishing from different salty water there.
That's
now,
so
you're going
gross.
to want to have 4 teaspoons approximately, okay? This particular solution here, it doesn't have to be exact, okay?
And if you have the finer salt granules,
Yeah, that's
you
fine
want to
too.
use those better because they'll dissolve.
Yeah, they'll just dissolve a little easier.
Yeah.
We have this big old
Easier.
kosher.
That's a good word.
Yeah, better.
Better.
We have this kosher salt here. Did I put 4 in there? I think I did.
so.
All right, so I've got mine, and she's going to put 4 little teaspoons in her water. Now, this is about 16 ounces of water, okay? Again, that is approximate. This part here doesn't have to be exact, but you're going to want to make that little saltwater solution. So now we're going to just stir it around a little bit here. You want to try and stir it until that salt is pretty well dissolved in that water. So till your saltwater solution becomes clear, okay? Or until you can't really see the little grains of salt. And that's just so you know that that salt is all in the water instead of just down at the bottom, okay? So we're stirring up our salt. You can go ahead and stir your salt now. As soon as yours is ready, I'll stop stirring mine. Right now I'm stalling so I don't have to put all of this salt water in my mouth. Now, when you put the salt water in your mouth, we're going to just gargle it. Okay, we're not going to drink it.
Yes, do not drink it.
We're just going to gargle it. Okay. And what I mean by gargle is we're not going to do the gargle thing. Okay, yeah, don't do that. Like if you had a sore throat or something. This is great for a sore throat. But what we're going to use it for is we are just going to swish it around in our mouth. Okay, don't swallow it. Just swish it around in your mouth because then we're going to spit it into the cup.
So gross.
And you guys get to watch that.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's nasty. All right, so yours is looking pretty good. Hey, cheers.
Why is mine so much more?
There you go. I just stirred mine a little bit longer. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. And
Ew. Oh my goodness, gross.
and you got to see that.
Oh.
Now, as you can see, when we were swishing it around, we were really making sure to get that salt water into our cheeks, because the cheeks are kind of the easiest place to get that those cheek cells from. And what the salt does is the salt works kind of like the salt in your body, and it will help separate the skin cells from the cheek. So it's kind of removing some of those dead cells that are in there, and now they're in this disgusting water. Okay, gross. Okay, so we've got our water here, our little spit water. Now next we want to make our alcohol solution, right?
That's not what we want to do next.
Oh, that's not what we want to do next. What do we want to do next?
So next we want to get our stirring sticks.
Stirring sticks.
Stirring sticks. And we're going to dip them in this, in this detergent.
That's just dish soap, okay.
And then we're going to take this and gently stir it in our spit water. The less foam you have, the better, because then you will have less, to look around. You'll have a clearer...
A better view if there's less bubbles in there? Okay.
My vocabulary.
So I'm just stirring these around here. There you go.
And you only want to do it until you have, barely any foam. You don't want a lot.
I still have a little when I was, spit bubbling it.
Yeah, which is disgusting.
Gross. Yeah. We can just put those right here. There you go.
Good.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do next is we're going to add some food coloring. We're using blue. You could use really whatever color you want. We're going to add a few drops. That should
Is that enough food coloring?
I think.
Okay.
And then we're going to mix this in until our water is just a little bit blue.
Okay.
Blue.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is we are going to get the eyedropper or whatever you have. If you don't have an eyedropper, you can use like the back of a spoon, like Mr. Dave said. And you're going to take a little bit of that rubbing alcohol, and you don't want much. You just want enough to create a thin layer on top of your spit.
Gross.
Which is disgusting.
Okay. So when you're doing it, okay, what you want to do is you don't want to just squirt it right in there. Okay, and that's what the spoon is for, is because you want to gently let it flow down the side of the glass so that it builds up a layer on top of the water. And
you don't really want it to mix that much, because then it won't make a layer. It'll just all get clumped together.
Okay, so you want it to be on top of your water.
Can I use this now?
There you go. And then do you want me to help you out?
Yeah.
Just very gently. There you go. Good. So if you kind of turn it this way, they can see what's up there. Yeah, so she's just barely squeezing it to where it's barely dripping down the top of that side of the cup there. Good. You've got a nice clean layer on yours. Very nice. Okay.
Ooh, pretty.
So if I move this up here, you'll probably be able to see that layer there. You can kind of see that layer of the alcohol on top of the spit water there. Oh, you've got a wonderful layer. I'm a little jealous. Let me try out here. There you go. Okay. So I'll see if I can get a little bit more.
And if you can get just like a stream down the side, that's kind of best from what I just figured out. Because then when it's just drip, 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 it mixes in more.
Right.
And then you don't get as good of a layer.
So if it ends up looking kind of milky,
I'm jealous.
then that alcohol is mixing with the water. But if it gets that nice little stream where you have two layers there, you can really see the two layers on mine. Okay. And then if you look,
there we go, perfect.
I can actually see. Go ahead and set yours down for just a second. Now, if you look over the top, yes, you can actually really see that DNA, those strands in there, starting to form.
Gross.
And remember, those it's pretty gross, but those are clusters. Remember how we talked about the clusters? And so if you take your little stir stick, now this is one without the soap on it, you can actually kind of move those around in there just a little bit. Here, just go ahead and do it in mine there.
Ew, gross. Oh,
yeah,
gross.
See? And those are actually all clusters of
wow.
DNA. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Really gross, but kind of cool.
Yeah, so that right there is just a whole bunch of those DNA molecules all together in there.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I made a little flower. Oh, now it's gone. But
yeah. So those clusters that you've got there in that glass that you're seeing, we set our glass on this dark surface here, and that kind of really helps show the contrast, so you can kind of see that DNA a little bit. But all those little white things there are just a whole bunch of those molecules all together. Because what happens is when we put the alcohol in there, that alcohol starts to break open the cell membranes in there. And so they'll start making those clusters. So you can see in there that this
is awesome.
Is your DNA.
That's really gross, but it's kind of cool too.
Yeah, that's pretty fun, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we made it to where you can see your own DNA in a very disgusting, but pretty fun, Breaking Boredom.
Breaking Boredom.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I really appreciate my daughter Charlotte here for helping me out, making a little bit of messes.
My hand in spit.
She just put her hand in a little bit of DNA
That's really
there.
Gross.
Yeah, gross. So we really appreciate her help. Remember, like I say, to like and subscribe. And don't forget, especially after doing something nasty with spit.
And putting your hand in spit.
Don't forget to
wash your hands. Thanks for watching.